As the bugbear swings in with his attack, you take 21 points of damage.
Damn, I'm dead again.
Well, that makes another TPK for me, because that was the last player. Check.
Why do you keep killing all of our characters?
Well, it's kind of your own fault. You always forget to bring along a cleric.
Alright, I think we're ready for the game tonight.
What's with the smirk, Ted?
Well, let me share with you the joy of the all-cleric party in Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition.
Welcome to Nerdarchy. For nerds, by nerds, I'm Nerdarchy Dave, and as usual, I'm hanging out with this nerd.
Nerdarchy Ted.
Maybe it's your first time visiting Ted's Basement. It's a place where we like to discuss news, views, and homebrews for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. Sometimes we even talk about other role-playing games.
So if you don't want to miss a single video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and to tune to that notification bell.
We're continuing our series, Dungeons & Dragons Party Composition, and this time we're going to go with the all-cleric party. Now, one of the problems you may find with having an all-cleric party is you're going to only have the same miniatures to choose from. But thankfully, we have a sponsor for this video, Hero Forge. They're going to have a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale going on from the 25th to the 2nd, 11/25, 12/2, that you can get $5 off of your first mini. And you can make any kind of cleric you want. You can all be clerics and look different and have a specific mini just for it. But Hero Forge has a lot more to offer than that, Ted.
All right, I'm a huge fan of Hero Forge. I've been, getting their minis for a while. Really happy that they're sponsoring this video. And if you aren't familiar with Hero Forge, you're going to want to jump down to the link in the description, and you're going to be able to go over to their website and completely customize a miniature of your choice. You've got the ability to choose from a wide variety of races. You have got, loads of choices for your equipment, what the figure is wearing. New thing that they've done is they've got adjustable posing. So all right, I like the guy like this, but I want the sword turned down to the side. Well, you got that, that pinpoint precision. It is really amazing. I've played around with it. I've had a lot of fun. And, they have new products, new options that you can choose every Tuesday that's added to, their ever-expanding material that you can use to make your own minis. So go check them out. Support the channel by supporting our sponsors.
So forget that Nerdarchy promo code. All right, we've got 12 domains for the cleric. That's a lot. And there's a couple things that all clerics are kind of good at. They're all good at buffing, they're all good at healing, and between spells and heavy armor proficiency, depending on the domain you go with, many of them are actually good at tanking.
You've got a lot of the roles covered before you even, before you even have to try. So it's actually really easy to make an all cleric party. The hard part is paring down and figuring out which ones that you should go with and why.
So we're going to do just a quick run through of the 12 and be kind of like what their other role could be, but not necessarily, because you have a lot of room and flexibility with spells and the different things that the cleric can do.
All right, diving into our domains. First up, we have Arcana domain. They're about the skills, and the Death domain is a DPS.
Yeah, Death domain gives you different ways to basically spread out the damage on your necromancy spells, so you get more bang for your buck. Next up, we have Forge and Grave. Forge is super tanky. Not only do you get the tankiness of being a cleric, but they have other abilities that just stack right upon it. Grave is a buff because they have that killer Channel Divinity where they make the next attack against an enemy have vulnerability, which is huge for damage.
Next up, we have the Knowledge domain, which is what I'm, currently playing. Looking forward to finishing off that campaign. They're all about the skills as well. Getting expertise and proficiency in Arcana and History, super helpful. And then we also have Life. The Life domain, their maximized healing ability makes them the literal best healer in the game.
So next up, we have Light and Nature. Light is actually good at doing a lot of damage across the battlefield, area of effect spells. So they're kind of like a blaster. And then we also have Nature, which, with their abilities, their heavy armor proficiency, they tend to actually be more tanky than one would think.
Yeah, you'd expect, I'm about nature and plants, and I'm gonna go out and spend time in the forest. But their abilities are really, really tanky.
They have protection from elements, the ability where they can just reduce damage for an ally as a reaction. They have heavy armor, and then you look at their spells, it just adds to it.
Lots and lots of good stuff. So we have Order and Tempest. Order is all about control. They've got, some supreme power on the battlefield, in my opinion. Tempest has a little bit of a control mixed with some damage-dealing abilities. I like that one as a strong choice as well.
Finally, we have Trickery and War. Trickery is straight up buffing your allies, and War is you're in the thick of it. You're going to be attacking and doing damage, so that kind of makes you like a tank.
All right, so there's 12 different domains, but, literally we're not making a 12-person party here, so how are we going to pare this down?
So we have to pare it down. One of the things to look at is we can look at races to kind of fill the gaps that we might have by not having other character classes in the party.
Looking at the races, we started finding out, trying to look at how many of them actually give some kind of bonus to wisdom. And if you look at all the different sub races, you're looking at around 20 races. I think it's just over half of the races that are available that offer some kind of bonus to wisdom. So I don't think you're going to be hard pressed to being able to make a cleric.
So the other place where it's hard for the cleric is with skills. So, taking human would be a great choice because you get an extra skill. You also get access to a feat so you can customize and fill in gaps that you need. Then when you're looking at those other races that get bonuses to wisdom, you're going to want to pick one that gets 1-2 skills, and it's very easy to do because there are a bunch of them. So when you're doing your all cleric party, you're going to want to mix and match your races to really maximize and minimize your strengths and your weaknesses.
Share out. Build your party together so that you've got, all the bases covered that you need to be able to have when it comes to making a standard adventuring party.
Next up, backgrounds.
So my first thing here, clerics, are not going to be able to handle, certain things. So if you go with the variant for City Watch, that's going to get you access to investigate. We've mentioned this before, that if you go with criminal or urchin to get access to those thieves tools.
Both of those are going to be useful. Outlander is going to give you their feature to help with the exploration phase of the game. So being able to feed your party when you're in the wilderness is kind of useful.
And, the nature skills, if you don't have a nature cleric, it's going to be helpful as well.
All right, so then next up we have feats, and we break them down to combat, skills, and magic.
All right, so there is a lot of, combat that's going to happen. And since we're talking about being an all-cleric party, we're not talking about multi-classing here. You're going to need those extra things to enhance your cleric, even if you are already going with, Tempest or War as your foremost frontline fighters. So what do we have as options here, Dave?
So things like Alert, Great Weapon Master, and Heavy Armor Master are all things that are going to make you more efficient in combat, or make you go first, or keep you from being surprised. All of them are going to be useful.
Polearm Master, Shield Master, Tough, and Warcaster are going to give you, more abilities on the battlefield. Tough is more hit points. You're always going to need that. Warcaster, advantage on those concentration checks, going to be super helpful. Polearm Master, getting more access, more reach with those attacks, stopping down enemy movement. Shield Master, super helpful in all those clutch situations.
So next up is skills, and actor, prodigy, and skilled are all things that are going to enhance your character as a skilled character.
As the fact that, you're all playing clerics, you got access to a lot of magic. There's not a whole lot that we felt was necessary here, especially when you start going into different domains. You're going to be able to cover a wide array of abilities. But I feel Ritualist is supremely helpful because, a lot of those, cool arcane features that are out there that are ritual spells are going to be helpful. Side effect is all of your cleric spells that are rituals, you've got the ability to put in your book, and you no longer need to prepare those spells, so you can double down on those and, get more for your buck.
Now we're going to assemble the party.
All right, so we got a lot of things that we've already discussed. How much of the party are we looking to assemble? We're looking at a 4-person party, a 5-person party.
Well, we're going to actually go from 4 to 6 just because with Cleric it's so easy.
Forge, which I'm currently playing. He's only got a level dip in the Cleric, but I've got a Forge Cleric. I really like the options that are there. The ability to have that, every day making an item for the day, a +1 magic item. You've got the ability to make it be a weapon. You've got the ability to make it an armor or a shield, and it's going to float around the party. Whoever's got an open spot that doesn't have something that's magical, bam. They're super tanky, super helpful. Definitely recommend with that one. Grave, we already mentioned, with the ability to shut down crits. They're going to be super helpful.
They can shut down crits, do more damage, and also they can stop people from dying at range with Spare the Dying. So they can come in very clutch for certain circumstances.
I already mentioned that life is the best healer in the game, and if you're going to play a party of clerics, there is no reason why you shouldn't have a life cleric in that group.
Order is constantly going to be able to give your other clerics something to do with their reaction. Cleric, he generally doesn't have a lot to do with their reaction, but the Order cleric is going to allow them to use it, and you're going to get more action economy out of the whole entire party.
Order is, super powerful, and this is going to be your control factor, really needed. Tempest is going to be our add-on. This is our number 5 spot. And with the amount of damage that they've got the ability to do AoE, they've got a little bit of, things that they can throw around to manipulate the battlefield.
So some control.
So some control. Definitely like what they bring to the party. And, they're somewhat, frontlinery as well. So definitely useful to have.
Ted would have been personally offended if we did not add this one in. And that is the Knowledge Cleric. They're going to add a lot of skills to the game and expertises so that that'll round out your party of clerics.
So yeah, knowledge. There's no one better in the game for knowing your Arcana and your history than the Knowledge Cleric. And it's sad that the wizard gets paled out by the Knowledge Cleric. But you know what? When you're divinely inspired, that's just how it works sometimes.
So that is the party assembled. Now the question is, how do we use these all these clerics together? Why are they adventuring together?
So, anytime you've got agents of the gods, it begs the question, is something happening? Maybe the gods themselves are losing power. We know, the time of troubles and Forgotten Realms where the gods had lost power. You could do something along those lines. Maybe these clerics are the only ones who have access to this magic because you've got this thing going on. Maybe you've got some kind of divinely inspired, enemy. Maybe someone is trying to achieve, godhood. And these agents are being sent out to thwart that because they don't want to change the Pantheon.
Not only that, though, the other idea I had is the idea that it could all be one god, right? With that grants access to different domains. It may not be one of the gods you're familiar with. It might be something you homebrew or your own world. It might even be monotheistic. And there are different orders that serve this god. And they have to be brought together for a single purpose. Maybe the Knowledge Clerics, they might be keeping the library, the archive of information for this deity. But there's also a militant branch, for your war, your tempest, or someone that makes things for the forge. So there could be a god that encompasses all these, and you serve the same one. So they're brought together to go on a holy quest or holy mission. I do like the idea of, the gods are losing power, they need to preserve it. Or you could even do something along the lines of, an enemy has arisen that seeks to snuff out all divinity, right? So the gods are actually concerned and they feel threatened. Kind of like, I think of Darkseid a little bit, the anti-life equation.
Yeah.
Or Thanos.
Right. I look at your suggestion about all serving the one god. I would look at this even in a pantheon. You could be whatever your all-father, whatever your head of the pantheon would be. Maybe you all serve them, or maybe all of the characters serve him or her or them, and it bestows these different domains for those reasons, or for the exact need. Maybe previously these characters had other things, but for this mission, for this quest, they need to work together, and they need different things. So the goddess says, well, this is the powers that I'm bestowing upon you. And, you make these changes for what domain you're with. I think that could be a really fun adventure.
If you look at Eberron, you could all serve the sovereign host, and, you worship the pantheon. You don't worship a particular deity. I mean, that could be in a lot of different worlds, and then it wouldn't matter. And even if you're using Norse mythology, chances are you're a follower of one of the Norse gods, unless it's like Loki or somebody. You're not going to be like, well, screw you, Odin. You would still pay homage to Odin, because Odin is the ruler of all the other gods.
Right.
So there's definitely ways that you could bring the all cleric party together. And I think it'd be interesting. You'd have interesting role-playing scenarios where it's more political. Could even be more political in the sense within your own organization, your own church. You're all vying for different powers, or you're trying to root out corruption.
Yeah, you could have a lot of fun with it. You could have those inter-party conversations and be able to be like, why are you serving, this god or goddess? Why have you gone down this path? And you could have essentially like those kind of like intellectual conversations, and share cool stories, and see like how the relationship between the characters build, how the characters and their gods or goddesses are built upon. I think you could have a lot of fun with it.
Nothing says fun like theology debates at your D&D game. For sure. Well, what do you think? Are you playing the all cleric party? Would you play it? Got a place where we can discuss it down below. On our way out, I want to take a moment to invite you to join Nerdarchy, the adventuring party, over on Patreon. What can you expect over there, Ted?
We're creating products for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons that both players and DMs alike can drop right into their game.
We do monthly giveaways, and our patrons are automatically entered.
We do weekly hangouts with our patrons and more.
Quest on down to the description. Join the Nerdarchy adventuring party. And until next time,
stay nerdy.